Two dudes reviewing the news, pop culture, video games, movies, and shoes. Quincy and Justin with a nerdy forecast. So stay a while and welcome to the Ugly Mugs Podcast.
Welcome to the Mugs Podcast. I'm your host, Quincy.
And you're the host, Justin.
So, we're not on time, a little early.
A little early.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
So we'll start with the plug before we get into what we're drinking tonight.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, you're gonna want to pre-order this before it's too late. We've seen the big bags of other what do you want to call it? Limited runs?
Yes.
Go out pretty quick.
They go either pretty quick or they stick around. So, I mean, if it gets popular enough, they can keep this one.
Well, I'm saying the big bags.
The big bags, yeah.
Seem to because the big bag of the Witch's Brew.
Yes.
That one sold out.
That one sold out. But, I mean, who's to say that if it still remains popular, it could become one of their permanents, but...
Yeah. So, get a hold of this while you can. They've got the gingerbread, the eggnog gingerbread, and then they've got the super crate, which is like the really big one, and I think it comes with one of the mugs, too. Mm-hmm. And then, what's the other holiday one? Was there not another holiday one?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I guess there's the one holiday one.
Mm-hmm. I still want to try. When you get Legend of the Lock, I want to try that one.
Yeah, I still want to get Dawn Patrol, Legend of the Lock. I'll probably get Smuggler's Run, also just to give it a shot. So.
The only thing I'm worried about that one is I like rum. I'm okay with vanilla. I like rum. But it's a vanilla rum coffee, and that's where I'm like, it hits my notes, but at the same time, I don't know if it hits my notes.
Well, I mean, we'll give it a shot.
We'll give it a shot.
I mean, I've never had rum, so I won't be able to compare it to rum.
Rum.
Free shipping on over 50. Gift certificates available for holidays.
That's right. And using our code still helps out even when you buy the gift certificates.
Yep.
Anything you purchase through it using our code, just H20.
And
that is JUST H20.
Yeah. And I think they're emailed gift certificates too, so it works great. So you don't have to mail it to someone.
Correct.
You just email it to them and immediately take someone off your Christmas list. How's your Christmas shopping going? Has it started yet?
I've got a couple things. I'm gonna try and keep it super freaking light this year. Mm-hmm. So
unless someone buys a shit ton of coffee.
Yeah, I mean, unless a lot of people buy a bunch of coffee, then I can go a little bit more.
Then he'll buy me something fancy.
I've already got you on plan. I got Lauren on plan. I've got the small time stuff on plan.
Well, I can tell you if coffee lovers, this is a great gift for them. And you don't necessarily have to do the holiday one either. You can do any of them, but they got shirts, they got mugs, they got a little bit of everything.
Yeah, but that super crate, $50 gets you 2 full bags of your favorite whole bean coffee, along with the big old mug. And I mean, the mugs looks really nice. Really.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same size as the mug I already had on here for the Witch's Brew.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm officially out of Goblin Gulp. I'm down to my last 2 trial bags. I still need to cold brew one. The other one's the original one we tried, so the trial bag doesn't matter. And we are kind of just currently hissing at each other whenever one of us talks about making the last of the Witch's Brew, because we don't have any more.
Yeah.
We'll have to order more.
Ooh, before it runs out.
Yeah. Now, I'm assuming this one will probably make a comeback next year. I don't see this being a yearly one. This will probably make a comeback next year. So, and if you've already used a discount code but you still want to show some support, when you go to do your order, use the link in our description. We get credit for that as well.
Yes.
So, let's move on to what we're drinking. I surprised you with one that you immediately made a face about, but you seem to be pretty happy about it.
Oh, yes. So the word turmeric in my hands... I've taken turmeric supplements many a times just because it helps out your thyroid, it helps out muscles, it helps out a lot.
I have no idea what it is.
It's a supplement. But with that supplement, it always gives me like the burps, and so as I take it in the morning, as I'm going to work, I'm always like going bleh, bleh, bleh. But it's not too bad
That's just how mornings make me feel.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It is the Celestial Seasonings T-Well Daily Wellness with turmeric, spice, and about a spoonful of sugar, and it's really good.
So I got this one because you were talking about with the cold weather. You were like, I gotta start taking vitamin C and all these. We're gonna be doubling up on the vitamins and all that this shit. You're worried about getting sick.
I hate getting sick. It is my least favorite thing to do.
Well, the good thing is with the masks, that's supposed to help decrease the
Just regular flu. Yeah,
flu
you're right.
So.
But people are being dumb. So
well, when aren't people dumb?
Yeah. So
I
have a little.
Yeah. So this is why I got. Yeah.
It's like I brought it up there.
Well, it was so that you remembered what it was when you got up here.
I guess.
This is non-GMO. And this is the USDA organic. And what is that last little thing on the far left right there? Because I can't
traditionally
read it
used herbs and botanicals.
Oh, okay. I was thinking maybe this one had like the fair trade thing. I don't know if that's a thing for teas like it is for coffees.
I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't. It's all natural, so I don't know where the unnaturality would be.
No. I mean, because they do the fair trade with coffees. It's that they're making sure the farmers get the proper pay for it.
Right.
I just don't know if that's a thing for tea companies. I never really looked into it.
Yeah, I hope they do.
So, we'll move on to mine.
He's not too proud of it. What it is a donut shop coffee, peppermint bark, and you did it in a K-cup.
Yeah,
as we're showing right now.
This is the brand I get like the regular donut shop from. It's good coffee.
Yeah. Lauren likes it. My mom likes it. Everybody likes donut shop coffee. But what makes the peppermint bark so different?
So I played with the sizes now. I've tried it at different sizes to make sure it wasn't me watering it down.
Okay.
But the reality is, it doesn't taste anything like peppermint. Like it tastes like water that brushed past a bottle of peppermint.
Oh.
And whatever they did to try to make it taste like peppermint really fucked up the flavor of the coffee.
Oh.
Like it doesn't even have like they got all that great of a flavor of coffee. Now I've got creamer and sugar in here. I'm gonna finish it. It's not like bad to where it's like, oh, I can't drink this. It's a boring drink.
Okay, I could see that. It's one of those that you'll muster through the whole box, but you're not gonna throw away the box.
Yeah,
I gotcha.
I could take it to Lauren's job. Dump it on them. That's what I did with the decaf I accidentally bought.
Oops.
It turns out someone there actually likes decaf, so it worked.
Oh, okay, good. I mean, ew. But at least it's out of your hands.
He's a health nut, so I think that's part of it.
At least it's out of your hands.
Yeah.
Let's get to last week's movie. And I say movie because it was only one movie.
Because it was 3.5 fucking hours long.
With a broken freaking neck.
It was The Irishman by Scorsese. Sorry, my brain broke for a second.
It's okay. And it follows the life of just a regular old truck driver, Frank Sheeran, and his climb up the mafioso, would you say?
I don't know if that's a proper term. I don't know how
organized
the mafia...
crime.
Sure, I was gonna say I don't know how the mafia would prefer if they would prefer being called mafioso or not. I'm not sure what the terms are for them. Now, there's been a lot of back and forth about whether or not this is based on true events because it's like we don't know what happened to Jimmy. Because it's about inevitably it's about what happened to Jimmy Hoffa by the end of it. There have been things that people pointed out. There's a hit that goes down in this at a restaurant that people in the mob have come out and said, the guy you guys are saying this movie's about, he's not the one that did that. It's known who's the one that did that, and it wasn't him.
I think it was a little bit of a leeway for entertainment's sake. Yeah, no,
it did get very Hollywood. I think it was a good movie though.
Oh, very great. Starting like just before the movie started, I kind of like leaned into you and went, this is probably going to be really slow. It's going to be, a little bit of a documentary style, so I'm not really...
I don't know why you were thinking that. It's Scorsese.
It's Scorsese, but at the same time, I was thinking that it was going to pull back a little bit because it's talking about the real moments, and I was like, I don't know. And then all of a sudden, literally first 3 minutes, I was like, oh, never mind. I take it all back. I apologize. I have no idea what I was thinking.
Look at Goodfellas. I mean, that's a Scorsese thing, and that's based off of a book written by the guy that it's all about. In fact, the book got him kicked out of witness protection.
Oh.
Yeah.
Also, I remember when I was saying that Joe Pesci was being way too serious, and then you mentioned Goodfellas. I was like, I went back and watched
Goodfellas.
I went back and watched a little bit. I was like, never mind. Joe Pesci does really good serious.
Yeah, you just gotta get Home Alone out of your head.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I literally just watched that like 2.5 weeks ago.
They just put it back on Disney Plus too.
Oh, I didn't even know it was on Disney Plus.
They said the Home Alone franchise, and they put 1, 2, and 3. I was like, yeah, because nobody wants to admit 4 happened. Although we don't want to admit 3 happened.
3, 4, 5.
Was there a 5?
Yeah, straight to DVD.
I mean, so was 3 and 4. You know they're rebooting it for Disney Plus. With a whole new.
Who's gonna? Actually,
they already showed the casting. I don't remember.
Nope. Mm-mm.
But back to The Irishman.
Irishman.
It's good.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. The effects for the aging, the de-aging, all of it works well on all the characters. Everyone, brought their A game, but I mean, with a cast like Pesci, De Niro, and Pacino, I mean, you kind of expect the A game, especially working for Scorsese.
Oh yeah, and then you even had like Ray Romano doing a really good lawyer.
Yeah, Ray Romano was actually in this, and he was really great. So let's start with the ratings before I go into this last part. We're sitting at 7.9 out of 10 on IMDb, 96 on Rotten Tomatoes, 94 on Metacritic, and 87 on Google users. Now, I'm surprised Google users and IMDb are so low because Rotten Tomatoes, Metacritic in the 90s, especially because I do want to put it in the 90s myself.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely putting it in the 90s.
I feel like anyone that is putting it low because they're mad at Scorsese, or they're not into mob movies and they went and watched a mob movie and went, well, I didn't like that. And it's like, well, you're not into mob movies. So if you want to pull up, find a bad review, it'd probably be easier to find them on Rotten Tomatoes, honestly.
Well, that's the thing, though. Rotten Tomatoes hit it with a 90.
Yeah, but we don't even know what the audience is, and there's still going to be bad reviews even with a good score. Oh, it's an 86 on audience, so the audience lowered there. And that's what IMDb and Google user is anyways.
Right.
So, what's up?
Oh, I'm just reading.
Oh, okay. Sorry. So yeah, let's find a bad one here. Okay.
Well, objectively, the film is kind of boring. I disagree with you, good sir. I would recommend, if you, I'm not gonna name names, but if you can hear me and you've seen it once, and
not
you
gonna
say
name
it's
names,
boring,
has it right on the screen.
yeah, but I mean, as far as for our listeners,
yeah, I think a lot of it came down to the fact that I was sitting there the whole time knowing that it's like, okay, he's gonna meet Hoffa, and at some point he's supposed to. I mean, it's not a spoiler. Jimmy Hoffa's fucking missing. At some point he's supposed to kill Hoffa. The whole time I was like, how are they gonna do it? What are they gonna tell us happened? So the whole time I think that was one of the things that kept me like, I'm ready. One thing I didn't like is the whole "you probably don't even know who Hoffa is" comment because you're young, and I'm like, I'm younger than the person you're talking to in this, or either that or right around the same age, and I know what Hoffa is. You can't even say it's because I'm from Vegas, because I'm not from Vegas.
You're right. I mean, I know who Hoffa is, and I'm a little bit older, but at the same time, he disappeared, and as soon as he disappeared, he kind of just it was a turning point for what was the Teamsters to what is just regular unions now. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I don't know how to really.
I mean, we do live in a town that was partially built on the fact that Hoffa ran the Teamsters and would loan out the money to the mob and whatnot. So I mean, there's that, but it kept me going. It kept me interested.
Yeah.
I did feel like it kind of insulted the younger audience, but I'm not actually offended. I don't actually give a crap.
No, but I mean, let's face it. For us right now, how many friends could we say that we have between us know Jimmy Hoffa? Know the name.
Anyone that I would actually truly consider a friend, I think, would know Hoffa. And I don't see, why are we on Wolfman?
I was looking at why it was 100% on the name Wolfman's Got Nards. But go ahead.
I don't see anyone that I'm hanging out with not knowing Hoffa, and that's not because I'm like, what, you don't know who Hoffa is? I'm not gonna hang out with you, but because I feel like I'm generally around educated people, Okay. The only critique I have about the movie and all is the 3.5 hours.
Yeah, they could have cut a few scenes. They could have made it sub 3.
It's not an overly violent movie, especially by Scorsese's. Remember, this is the guy that did The Departed. Mm-hmm. It's not overly sexual. No, which honestly was a nice break when it comes to mob movies and mob shows and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, the most risque thing was the dinner party with the dancers.
Yeah.
That's probably the most risque in this entire thing.
But 3.5 hours was way too much. It needed to be dialed back. And I have a theory on why it's 3.5 hours.
Because there was a lot of just people looking at other people?
No.
Okay, because actually, just speaking about that,
Hey, Liquid.
scene, the 3 scenes just afterwards, where he receives a very piece of intel, he receives a few information bits, and then has a conversation with Hoffa. There's maybe 5-6 minutes of them trying to figure out what they're actually going to tell the other person to, like, finally get them to go,
Well,
oh,
yeah,
I need to have that reaction.
Yeah, you don't say certain things out loud.
Right.
Is basically what it comes down to.
Right.
There's ears everywhere. There's eyes everywhere. You can't say everything out loud.
Right.
But no, I don't think that's why it's long at all.
No.
Shortly before this came out,
Okay.
Scorsese went on a warpath and trashed Marvel films.
You're bringing that up again.
Yes.
Okay.
He trashed Marvel films, says they're ruining cinema, yada, yada, yada. He's allowed to have his opinion. It's
His
fine.
wrong opinion.
Wrong opinion. But he trashes it right around the time of Endgame and all that 3-hour something movie. Everyone's losing their shit. And then proceeds to release a 3.5-hour movie that, yes, some people will point out was on Netflix. You could watch it at home, pause it, yada yada. But it did get a theatrical release as well. It made about $8 million, and it's like weekend that it was out or some shit. And it was limited run theaters too. It wasn't every theater. But I think Scorsese is so mad at Marvel that he decided, I'm going to make a 3.5-hour movie. And people will want to sit through mine unlike yours. And the reality is everyone sat through Marvel's because everyone that was being a big baby had also sat through Lord of the Rings and never really thought about the fact that that's a long fucking movie too.
Oh, yeah, no. Literally, you have to dedicate half of a day, almost 12 hours if you want to watch the director's cuts.
Yeah.
And frankly, I've done it once, won't do it again unless I can get a huge party going on.
Wait, does that count Hobbit, or is that just...
That is just...
like Fellowship and Towers. What's the third one called?
Fellowship, Following, and...
No, Fellowship, Twin Towers.
Fellowship, Two Towers.
Or Two Towers. Twin. My bad.
It's okay.
Return.
Yeah.
That's right, because there's only one Return. It ain't of the King. It's of the Jedi. Yeah, no, there was already plenty of long movies. I don't know why people acted like they couldn't. But I feel like very much Scorsese was trying to take a whole... People aren't going to complain about the length of my movie. And the reality is, no, people still complain about the length of your movie.
You're right.
Because they don't realize that they've done it before. Because they just hear a number and they panic. Because if it's a bad story, it's going to feel like 3.5 hours. If it's a good story, it's not. And that's kind of that line. With Endgame, I didn't realize how much I disliked the movie until afterwards. So I will say it did not feel like the 3.5 hours that it was. Yeah, the length is the only complaint here, and not because it felt like it, not because it was a bad thing. I do think it could have been trimmed down, but mostly because I think it came out of a place of malice, not a place of the art form and storytelling and whatnot. I could be completely off base.
Okay.
But that's just the feeling I got based off the way he's been acting.
That's fine and fair. I can see that, but then again, I'm not going to take it out on these actors who gave 350%.
Yeah. I mean, and don't get me wrong, Casino's a long movie too. Casino's 3 hours. It's 2:58, so it's almost as long. You know, it's 32 minutes shorter than this.
Right.
So it's already out there that Scorsese makes long films. But this felt long in a different way. So.
Oh, did I know that I sat through 3.5 hours? Yes, I do. Does it feel like 3.5 hours? Yes, it does. Do I hate that I sat here for 3.5 hours to watch? No, I actually like it.
I think that's the big that's the big thing. Do you regret not losing? Do you regret spending that 3.5 hours? No.
And I mean, is it a story we've heard before but with different names? Yeah, kind of.
And I thought it was a very interesting take because have you seen Hoffa with Jack Nicholson?
No, but I remember you showed me the picture.
Yeah, we'll eventually do that one. Not anytime soon, but eventually we'll do that one. Which, by the way, directed by Dan DeVito, for anyone that didn't know.
You mentioned that too.
Not on air, I didn't.
Not on air, you didn't, but I'm just saying that you mentioned it.
That one is following a little bit more closer to Jimmy. And a little bit more of what the public knew. And a little bit less of what the public didn't know.
Okay.
Versus this one was very much everything that's going on around Jimmy behind closed doors, not around the public. So I went in like, yes, I've heard the story, but I haven't heard this part of the story. I haven't heard this side of the story.
Gotcha.
So I definitely suggest it for everyone. Were you trying to pull up a rotten one or?
There's very few between them, but Steven Zellerand's script tells a mob story we've seen many times before.
To be fair, it is based on a book.
Okay.
The book's called So You Paint Houses.
Okay. This one's a 5 out of 10, figuratively. At its heart, it's a unique account of friendship, trust, and betrayal between 3 men, but Scorsese, chasing his mob mania, can't resist involving more characters and vignettes than he can handle.
I mean, there weren't that many characters that carried over. Like, yeah, the guys had wives, but the wives didn't get that much screen time. Yeah, he added in like one more like mob boss type person, but that's because it was to point out the fact that there were people rooting against him, but he had pissed off enough people that it didn't matter.
Who was that, Pro?
I don't remember.
Oh
yeah, no, yeah, Pro, and then there was the other guy, the bigger guy.
Yeah. Okay. Because I mean, I have a terrible time with names. I can remember the vast majority of the names in that movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some of them were real too. So
yeah, it's the fact of the matter that I know how quick it was to why people have nicknames. That's why he was called the Irishman, because, you know, real names are, I don't want to say forbidden, but don't call them by their real names.
There's that, and then there's the fact that also it held a significant thing with, there's something that happened. I won't spoil it too much, but there's something that happens in the book, in the movie. They point out you're the only non-Italian,
right?
So,
and then you also, even we made mention of the rat or the snitch or what was the one?
I don't know, loose lips.
Yeah, there was one that you were like, he was named that.
Yeah, I mean, I think The Simpsons was loose lips. So go check it out. I mean, there's not much more we can say because I don't want to spoil too much.
Oh,
I mean, well, you know the big things. You know Hoffa's not going to make it to the end of the movie because Hoffa didn't make it to the end of a good story in real life. We have no idea what happened to the man, but it's enjoyable.
It is very enjoyable.
It's not going anywhere. It's on Netflix.
Yeah,
that's where it's going to stay home at.
Quincy gives it a 9. I give it a 9.
Yeah,
we're both pretty adamant on it.
I would watch it again, but it would be one of those things of like I would catch some of it, or I would watch it with someone that hasn't watched it before. But I don't know that I'm going to devote another 3.5 hours to truly sit down and watch it. Yeah, maybe background, like you said too, because that's how Lord of the Rings is. It's like I like those movies, but I don't ever sit down and just watch Lord of the Rings. It would be a big thing of having people over, or I'm going to be doing stuff around the house and we put something on I've seen already, stuff like that. But I'm not going to sit down for 3.5 hours.
Yeah. Two Towers would probably be the one if it's one of those.
Two Towers was better than Fellowship. So.
Yeah, because even if I like glance over, there's a few scenes where I will divert full attention and watch, and then as soon as that whole scene is over, I can go back to what I'm doing or what have you.
Versus me with Back to the Future, where I sit down and that's it for the next 2 hours. I'm gone.
Me and Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah. Lauren's dad asked me to get some movies. He's like, I have to warn my wife though. I'm gonna be gone for at least 2 hours. He wanted the Under Siege films with what is his name? Steven Seagal.
Oh my god!
And so
That's
I got
right.
him.
He likes Steven Seagal.
So I got him for him, and he's like, yeah. And sure enough, the instant I had him, I sat down and I was gone for 2 hours. He watched just the sequel. He didn't watch the first one. He's like, I'm gonna save the first one for another night because he likes the sequel better. Okay. But he sat down for the full 2 hours. And was just like, nope, I'm not doing anything in the house.
Marathon is the only way to do Lord of the Rings. I don't agree with that. I mean, they're fine on their own.
They are fine on their own. I think it's fun to do them as a marathon, but it's a lot of time to take out of your day, especially now that you have The Hobbit as well.
Yeah.
Because The Hobbits...
The director cut of The Hobbits are about as long. It's 10.5, I think, for the 3 Hobbits.
And then 12 for the
12 for the entire... almost a whole day.
It's a whole day. I think Harry Potter's just over a day, too.
No, I can't do that anymore, man.
Yeah, chat's saying they plan in the full 24 hours.
No.
The other thing, the other like film franchise where it's like I want to watch all of them, but I can't watch all of them because it just takes too long, is Star Wars. But Star Wars is one I'm fine to I'm happy to just grab one of the movies. I'll sit down and I'll watch Return.
And I mean, they're not they're also not too long. They're like what, $1.40 each at worst.
You know, I honestly don't even know. I've never really considered it. You go ahead and look that up. While you're looking that up, I'm going to talk about this week's movies.
Okay, yeah, I'm actually curious about that too.
Yeah, because I didn't tell him. Okay.
No.
Liquid says that we tried to do Star Wars once. We didn't try to do Star Wars once. We watched the first two, I think, of the original trilogy, and then that was it. Like, we never even went to the prequels. So this is saying with all 11 live actions, it's about 25 hours.
Okay, 6 hours, 17 minutes. So about 2 hours apiece. We'll say 2 hours apiece.
So what was that other thing?
That was all the movies.
Yeah. Okay, so you're looking at just the trilogy.
Yeah.
Is 6 hours.
Original trilogy is
6
that
hours.
25
and 7 minutes.
And 7 minutes for all 11 live action movies.
So that's
9, Rogue One, and I'm assuming Solo.
Well, so Phantom Menace.
Yep.
But I want to see if I can do this. I want to see if I remember.
Okay.
Revenge of the Sith.
Okay.
Attack of the Clones.
Correct.
Solo. I think timeline wise, Solo would have has to happen before Rogue One. Solo.
Okay, I think Solo might be happening between.
No, because Rogue One happens moments before New Hope.
Oh, but then Order 66 already happened.
Yes.
So why would he be going to the Empire if Order 66 hasn't even happened yet?
What are you talking about?
When he was enlisting, so to speak.
Yes, that would be after Order 66.
That would be after.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm saying Phantom Menace.
Okay.
Empire. No, not shit. Now you fucked me up. Phantom Menace. Is it Attack of the Clones? And then it's Revenge of the Sith. And then it's Solo. Rogue One. New Hope. Empire. My favorite, Return. And then you've got the 3 new ones, which would be Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker.
Correct.
But then you've got the TV shows in there in the middle.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's another thing where it's like,
right.
I'm not going to do all that.
You were 100% right, because this is what this website also says. So.
Liquid says you got to break the trilogies into multiple trilogy days. Yes and no. Now with the release of Rogue One, I say you got to start with Rogue One. I loved it so much. You got to go really Rogue One, and then 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 3. If it's your first time watching, you've got to do 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, because otherwise the big moment isn't a big moment because you see it coming for 3 fucking films.
Right. But I mean, 25 hours and 7 minutes for all 11 anyways, so that's another day.
Yeah.
That if you want to spend it. That's ridiculous though. Yikes.
Okay. So, tonight's movies. Lauren mentioned one movie and I was like, "Oh, great, you know what? We'll make it a night of that actor." So, we're going to do a John Cusack night.
Okay, I don't mind John Cusack.
The movie she suggested was High Fidelity.
Okay.
Originally a book, Cusack wanted to make it a movie. He actually partially wrote the script. This was like kind of like one of the big ones for Jack Black, where it really started to get on the map because Cusack had been watching Tenacious D, just like their shows, and saw something in black that no one else had really seen. He had already done like Cable Guy and stuff like that, but like High Fidelity is like the one that kind of blew him up.
Okay. And
it's now was remade on Hulu. The funny thing is, the Hulu one, they were talking about redoing the music, and I was like, I don't know about that. You know, I guess to make it modern.
Okay, I've only seen so much, but is that
no?
Okay.
This is a good amount after that. He's not a teenager anymore.
Okay.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
So the Hulu's doing the High Fidelity remake, and they're like, we're gonna update the music. I was like, I don't know. And then I found out that the High Fidelity original actually changed the music from the book because he said it in Chicago because he's from Illinois.
Chicago.
So there's like a change there.
All right. And the second movie?
Liquid's saying 1408, and it is not. You've already seen that. So the second movie is Grosse Pointe Blank. Another one he partially wrote.
Grosse Pointe Blank.
Yes.
Okay.
So High Fidelity, he's a guy that runs a record store. And Grosse Pointe Blank, I'll just tell you, it's a guy that has to go to his high school reunion. I'm going to leave it at that.
Okay. And then Grosse Pointe Blank?
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
High Fidelity is a guy running a record store.
Okay.
Grosse Pointe Blank is he has to go to his high school reunion. They're not connected. It's just Cusack.
Okay. I cut out a little bit. My mind cut out a little bit of what you were saying for some odd reason.
Jones in both of them. I think the other sister is in Grosse Pointe Blank, but I might be wrong.
But 1408 was a really good story. I liked it as far as the beginning portions where he's like, I'm a struggling writer. I need to get into the mentality of, and then as soon as he gets into the room, that's when everything starts breaking apart. And then that's when you start learning about his history. I like 1408, but there's better stories that do it a little bit more.
I thought 1408 was fucking great.
Oh, it's great. It's just, there are other stories in that genre where a guy wants to just get away, but it winds up devolving him. Alan Wake does it so much better, in my opinion.
I'm gonna straight up say right now, Alan Wake is kind of a ripoff of Stephen King's other thing, Secret Window.
Yes,
but like in an homaging way.
Homage.
I shouldn't say ripoff. Like they homaged a lot.
Right.
1408 being a movie, I think 1408 may have come out before Alan Wake. I'm not entirely sure. I know for a fact the book did though, because the book was actually originally a short story called The Room.
Let's find out.
2007.
2007, and yeah, Alan Wake came out after that. Alan Wake.
Bag of Bones, I will say, the chat's saying Bag of Bones. Bag of Bones is good. Bag of Bones, I'll say, is a little different because he goes through... I guess it's kind of the same because they both the writers in 1408 and Bag of Bones go through like a loss at one point in their life. It's just Bag of Bones, I feel like, more triggers the stuff that happens in that versus with 1408, he just was kind of off doing his shit and he had a loss in the past. If you want to watch the Bag of Bones thing though, it's Pierce Brosnan.
Okay.
It's fucking great.
Okay.
The chat's a little backed up, I think. Yeah, so those are the 2 movies for tonight.
Those are 2 movies for tonight.
Let's get into some gaming news. You've only been playing one thing because you're a loser.
I am a loser. It has literally locked me down because of how it handles itself, but it pisses me off at the same time because of how it handles itself. I've been playing Genshin Impact for the last month.
6,000 hours.
Pretty much. I have dedicated a lot of time just because it plays so good and it feels like it's a mobile game that wants to take itself more seriously, but it kind of does it so straight. It's so frustrating.
Are you playing on your phone or BlueStacks?
Neither. They have a PC release.
Oh, you're playing a PC version?
Yeah.
Is it through Steam?
No.
Oh, damn. I was going to say you could check the actual hours logged.
Yeah, I could.
I'd say if it was BlueStacks, I don't think you can. If it's your phone, it might depend on the kind of phone.
Yeah, but no, even still, I guarantee you I probably logged, I'll say maybe about 300 hours already. Like, I've dedicated days off to it. It is free to play, but I've put a little bit of money toward it, I will admit.
You have a new gripe. Let's talk about the gripe. That's the whole reason we're even talking about this.
That's right.
They changed something in the game, and you're not exactly happy.
So, they did make it a little better, but taking a sack of shit and putting a bow on it doesn't exactly help. So
but it wasn't a sack of shit before, though.
It was a sack of shit. It went from 120 to 160, but they buffed up the time.
Okay, you're not talking the whole game was a sack of shit. You're talking this one feature.
This one feature.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought you were saying the game was a sack of shit. I'm like, then why did you sink so many hours? Why have we talked about it 3 times now?
No. But in short, they have a somewhat of a stamina system if you're wanting to run your dailies, we'll say, or your weeklies even, to where you have to spend resin in order to get the what do they call it? The equipment that you would normally get from it. What's funny about that is they've introduced a new thing called condensed resin, which you spend 40, you get anything that costs 20 times 2, so that way you get double, so that way you're not wasting more time. I'm like, that's a good idea. They buffed it up from 120 to 160, so you can do a little more. You can make more condensed resin.
So it's kind of like energy in other games.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
But the only downside is you don't get them back on level ups. You don't. You can earn them via level ups 50 at a time by getting fragile resin.
Okay.
But those are very finite. Those are very slim. And let's say I'm all out of fragile resin and I'm all out of stamina, but I need these level up materials to level up my characters. Looks like I have to wait till next week.
Or pay. That's the concept. It's a free to play. They're trying to get you to pay.
Yeah, I mean, shit. I just wander the whole area. There's a lot just to wander around and do. Like, there's a quest line that unmapped, uncharted. You got to solve this little tiny puzzle bit, and you do that, you get 3 really nice chests out of it. And I'm like, that's the kind of shit that I'm hoping 1.2 brings. because that's the good point of what I'm trying to get across, is 1.1 released with a lot of new characters featuring just a lot of really good characters. I rolled on it and it's a good kind of frustrating.
Okay.
Because I got Mona this morning and I was like, holy crap.
That reminds me of something else. And the look is very familiar and I just don't know what.
I mean, I'm sure a couple artists have rolled over.
Maybe that's what it is.
I got Diona earlier this week, and then I just got... where is he? Is he in Mondstadt?
Do the characters have different abilities?
They sure do.
Okay.
So, I've got about 18 out of 23 cards right now, and that's very exceedingly lucky. I've just got Bidou, the pirate, and all of them have their own personalities. Each of them, somewhere down the line, will have their own quest line that you're going to be able to do.
Okay.
I just did Childs, which is another very rare card that I got. He has his where he's from an area that's currently unexplorable for us right now, called Shneznaya. And how the quest line starts is you run into his stowaway of a brother, Tooster, I believe his name is, and you're like, what are you doing out here? And he's like, well, I'm here to see my brother. You know, he makes these giant toys, which the giant toys, they're death machines. They're these giant robots.
It sounds like toys to me.
Yeah, that just run around, and they're ruin guards.
Okay.
And without spoiling much more after that, you basically have to kind of babysit, lack of better words, but it also shows that child as chaotic. I would say chaotic neutral as he is, because he's not against you. He just has his own form of plans that you want to stop him, so he acknowledges that I don't want to deal with that, so I have to come off as evil.
Okay. So the story is enticing you. The new characters are enticing you.
There he is.
It's the aspect where they're trying to get you to pay because it's a freemium, free to play, whatever game. They're doing it in a way that's upsetting.
A little.
However, it's probably fair to say that other games have been worse about it.
Yes.
We're looking at you, Hogwarts.
Oh, I deleted that shit first day.
That damn Devil Snare.
Yeah, I was done with it. But this one, at least if you're out of your resin, you can still play the game, go and explore.
You just can't do certain aspects of the game until it reloads. It said it takes, how long was it? 23
hours for a 160. If you use all 160 of your resin, about 23 hours.
Okay.
It is 8 minutes per one, which if they brought down that timer to like 4 minutes, maybe half.
But they don't want to, because they want you to pay, because they have to make money somehow. Although it may be time to merchandise.
Oh yeah. Oh hell yeah. I would definitely buy a mug with any of these characters on it. Like they all okay, Kiki. She's cute, right? Well, Chi-Chi. They say Chi-Chi, but I say Kiki. But she's an undead who has been dead for a long time.
Okay.
And I'd get a mug with her on it. She's one of my favorite characters.
And they can do mugs, they can do t-shirts, they can do little figures. There's all kinds of shit they can do.
I would love this shit.
But gripes aside, you're still enjoying it. It still deserves the millions it has made.
Billions and billions of stars.
Alrighty. Well, I'm still playing Marvel Strike Force. I got nothing new. They added stature.
Yeah,
I got nothing new to add to that.
So a little bit of a thing, because of, you might have thought that I would be talking about the Series X. My hubris was way too big. I thought I had talked to someone on the inside who works at fucking Best Buy that said, hey, anything coming in, any excess, will be going out to the public. I didn't know that meant still need to pre-order, though.
See, that's not how all stores were doing it. I guess that's how Best Buy was doing it, but that's not how every stores were doing it. It was first come, first serve basis at places like Walmart and stuff like that.
I should have just got it from Walmart then.
They're out.
Well, I know that.
But
until hopefully day after tomorrow, they should be restocking.
Yeah.
So, light knock on wood.
Well, while we're talking about the new consoles, we got really nothing to say about the Xbox. I mean, we're going to get hands-on with it eventually, but there's not anything bad I've seen. There's not anything amazing I've seen other than the already spec stuff we knew. Most of what I'm seeing and hearing is, it's good. It's what I expected. I'm happy with it. But there's a few problems with PlayStation. And I know we went hard on PlayStation last week, but this time around we're gonna go a little lighter on them because we're just gonna tell you how to fix a few problems.
There you go.
So, let me get my notes up here. People have noticed a downloading issue. Now I think IGN tested it all out with they tested it all out with Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. So they say the error occurs when you try to download certain games. In this case, they had done Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, and it just kind of sits at the download screen. Nothing happens, and you sit there forever.
Yes.
If you go to your actual downloads and uploads section, though, there are no downloads or copies. This is the screen you're presented with.
Which is a bit strange.
It's also not presenting errors. There's nothing in the error section. It is straight up just not downloading anything. What are you talking about?
I think it might be a licensing push because it's an easy fix. From what I'm understanding, it seems to be an easy fix.
No, it's not.
It is not.
This is the fix that to fix this, you have to reset your console.
That's right. But what I'm saying is, from PlayStation's point of view, from Sony's point of view, on how to fix this.
They could probably fix it in some quick coding, yeah.
Because if it had like a licensing saying this person owns this, remark, or hey, refresh button, it would be able to showcase what is in your library.
No, it's stripped, just not downloading. This isn't like it's not displaying that it's downloading. It 100% is not downloading.
Oh.
You tell it to download, and it's like, okay, gonna download, and then it just sits there. Nothing happens. If you back out and go to your downloads and uploads, you have nothing. It is not ever actually starting the download.
That's what you're talking about.
And people are having to reset their consoles to fix it.
God.
So that's how to fix that, is reset it. Liquid Ginger said Valhalla is good. I mean, it's not Xbox news. I haven't played the game. I'm a little burnt on Assassin's Creed, so that one's going to be a later purchase for me. But, I mean, if you guys want to hear what he thinks, he's got a Twitter. Go find him. Now...
Wait, who thinks?
Liquid.
Oh, yeah.
One more thing while we're here. This one is a fixable error. So I'm gonna walk you guys through how to fix this one real quick. If you've got... We're going to stick with the current game of Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. I'm not sorry, no, we're not going to stick with that. That's the game that's currently having this current problem. So, the PlayStation 5 launch of this, for some reason, is actually playing the PlayStation 4 version. Which is confusing, because if you bought PlayStation 5, whatever. But Eurogamer figured out a way to fix this. They're saying because they did the downloadable cross-gen bundle. So basically, you bought it on the PlayStation 4 before your PlayStation 5 was there, so the purchase was done. So as soon as you got the 5, you could play it. Well, when you do that, for some reason, it's choosing to play the PlayStation 4 version, which you would think the console wouldn't even do. You'd think it would just only play the upgraded version. So this might happen to other games, so keep an eye out for it. The way to fix this is actually really easy. So you highlight the game title on the dashboard. You scroll down and hit. You highlight the play thing. There's going to be 3 little dots, like the little menu type of thing. You're going to click on that, and you're going to select PlayStation 5 Full Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, and then launch it. That's literally the only issue is the game's downloaded. It's just launching the downgraded version of it.
You have to go into the options too.
Which further tells me that this is where I'm thinking about this on Activision's side. The game is exactly the same. It's a setting that you basically flip a switch on to just up it. Yep. Because it's not having to re-download or anything like that. You're seriously just, you go and you click the little dots and you select the PlayStation 5 version.
Turn up the power.
There you go.
To get up to 88.
It's like a dimmer switch.
Yeah, to get up to 88.
Yeah, 88 miles per hour. So that's all I'm going to say on PlayStation 5 today. We're not going to tear it apart.
Considering they're doing that themselves.
Now, there was a Demon Souls thing that's kind of interesting, though.
From Mr. Batty Video.
I don't know him, but you know him.
I do. I do listen to him on the YouTubes. He does a lot of Dark Souls lore, some theory crafting, because a lot of Souls lore you don't rightly know. So
I think it's because they didn't write it.
No, apparently they did. When they released their the book that Vatty helped write.
Wait, if he helped write it, then it wasn't written.
Well,
yeah. Okay.
There were some theories that it was introduced, such as, because there are some things that straight out, even when they were making it, they were saying it could. I'm not gonna say it is or not.
I don't know why not just write a simple lore. I like lore. I like story. Give me lore and story.
Right.
But
he
he tweeted a video, which he has then also put on Reddit. We're not going to feature it here because I don't have his permission. But there's a section, and you looked at this and you confirmed because you played Demon Souls. So this is on the PlayStation 5 version.
So long,
It's the PlayStation 5 version of Demon Souls, and it wasn't originally in the PlayStation 3 version. And so far, no one seems to figure it out. So in the Tower Knight Archstone, there is a door that you can get through. There's like a, what are the walls called? It's like a faux wall.
Illusionary wall.
So you go through the illusionary wall, and there's a door on the other side.
Right.
It's locked though.
Yep. It's either gonna be some strange DLC that unheard of yet. I think it might either be that, or there's gonna be some relevancy to it in the near future. They're not gonna. I can't say that they're not gonna make a door that they aren't gonna figure out, because they literally did that in Bloodborne twice.
But I mean, was it hidden behind an illusion, or was it just a door sitting there?
It was just a door that was locked, and you know where that door leads to. It's just, as soon as you get to the other side of that door, it's still locked. There's no definable way to open that door.
But this doesn't seem to be that case. This is actually hidden. You had to break some barrels and stuff.
I get
and
you.
Then there was a wall you had to get to disappear, and then there was a door.
But FromSoft likes to have a lot of doors.
I feel like it's gonna be probably DLC stuff, or maybe late game stuff.
Yeah. Hard to say, just because.
Or something stupid where you have to kill the princess 16,000 times, and the door magically unlocks.
Yeah, I don't know. I remember only so much about that game. I remember the Phalanx being the most fun boss I've ever had, just because it was just so simple. A huge goo monster covered in shields and spears, and it just has all these shields wrapped around it. And
so tactical blob.
Pretty much.
Okay.
And there's a core on the inside that you have to destroy, and it's just the music behind that too. God. FromSoft Games just knows how to do music.
I like a good mystery, a good Easter egg. It's like there was a room I didn't know about in Arkham Asylum until years after the game, because a lot of people didn't know about it until years after the game, but me even further, because I just had figured I'd done everything in it, because there was no achievement for it. I was already 100%. But basically, you have to do this very specific thing to blow up the wall in the warden's office, and you find this little room that is full with sketches and stuff for Arkham City, showing that they were already planning the sequel.
Oh.
And it's supposed to be like the blueprints for they're going to set it up. So, the next news we're going to move on to. Oh, I'm sorry, you put your hand up. I thought you were going to say something.
Nope.
All right, so the next news we're going to move on to. We're going to support a little bit of an indie game here, because they're doing something that Nintendo refuses to do. That's essentially give us a new Star Fox.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's called Whiskers Squadron. It's kind of Sky Fox, but with Star Fox, but with kitties.
God, it's like an AT-AT but in cat form.
Yeah, I love it. It looks like goofy fun. I've heard it too. It does have cat noises and stuff. It's currently on PC, but I've got a quote here. Let me find it real quick.
It looks very smooth, by the way.
It does. Like the graphics aren't like here to like do anything spectacular. They're just kind of the shapes that they're needed to be for. But everything moves really well.
Oh yeah.
So the creator says, I definitely like to see this on the Series X and PlayStation 5 at some point. In addition to outgoing generations of consoles and the Switch. So he's even saying Xbox One and PlayStation 4. I don't have specific plans to launch platforms yet, but all the consoles are on the table right now. And they're going to be launching a Kickstarter soon. So I'm assuming with the Kickstarter, that's kind of going to be like the push they need to
get some funding.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's currently state is 2021. It's got a Steam page if you want to check out some screenshots and some videos. But I think it's fun because Netflix isn't doing Star Fox. Oh, not Netflix, Nintendo. My bad.
Oh yeah, I was like, what?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, Nintendo is trying to stay away from all their space themed things.
That's what it seems like.
It's what it seems like.
They never come out and said it.
No, not until we get another Nintendo Direct. But even still, I don't have a Switch, so I'm not. I kind of already take a back seat to the Nintendo Directs Because I mean, what am I gonna do with the information? I can talk about it. I could say, oh, I'm glad that they're making another one of these. But until they even,
I mean, I don't want to see a franchise like that die though. So even if I can't play it, I'm sad to see it go because I'd love to see what Star Fox could be now. Because the last thing we got was that weird attempt at like their version of amiibos and all those. It was like character things where like they're like you can buy these different ships, and I'm like no one wants to do that.
You're right. You are correct. But then you also have on the open hand something that they just threw away, and then they announced something recently, which I'm glad for, which was Metroid 4. I think it's Prime 4 too. So I'm like, cool. You guys are gonna go back to it. We haven't heard shit since.
I mean, there's a lot of reasons why games are delayed now.
You're right, but I'm just saying that there's no open talks. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So.
It does seem like space isn't the final frontier for them right now. No? Okay.
You are getting nothing from me, my friend.
All right, click on my first tab.
Yeah.
All right, so Pokemon Go's kind of testing something. So a lot of you may know that if you play it, you can trade. You can finally trade Pokemon. You've been able to do that for a bit now. But they're going to allow players to trade further between November 12th and November 16th. How much further? Well, they didn't say in their English tweet because fuck us. But in their Korean announcement, they confirmed the maximum range the trade could be is 12 kilometers, which is about 7.4 miles. So still no trading cross-country in the other countries, no international trading.
I'm sure there's gonna be winter trade soon where they'll throw randoms out and you get randoms back.
At this point, this is only being allowed for 4 days, and tomorrow's the last day of it.
Okay, but also, they're always improving. We just gotta relax.
I just don't understand. The game's been out for how long now? It's like 2-3 years now, and
they've had how many events? Like
they keep adding Pokemon, but we're asking for a feature, and they went, okay, we'll give you the feature, and it's like, wait a minute, you had to be like standing here, to do the trade
because they still want people to do that, but
which is fine. But now you're adding in the fact that fine, you can do it, 7 miles apart, for 4 days. Okay.
But maybe it's a test.
What if someone has a Pokemon that I want that just isn't showing up in my town? I gave up on an event thing because I just could not find a fucking Ditto.
I don't know. I stopped playing it a long time ago, so I'm just trying to be the devil's advocate on this.
I joined a Discord that would point out where certain Pokemon were in town, so I could try to find this fucking Ditto, and still didn't find this damn Ditto. And you can only get him
during the event.
Well, not during the event, but you by mistake basically, because he doesn't show up as a Ditto.
Oh, so you had to battle everything.
Yeah. So when someone finally runs into one, they tell you. Yeah, and like Liquid just said, in given pandemic, where you're not supposed to be out and about and everything, you'd think global would be a thing, or at least longer than 4 days, and not even a weekend. They didn't. Well, I mean, partially a weekend. They started it on the 12th, so it was like a Thursday. Well, it was Thursday, right? And they're running it to Monday. So yeah, they give you a weekend, I guess. But 4 days, not even a week.
You're right. That one, I don't understand why they're doing. I mean, I said it could be a test, or maybe they could be buffing it up. I don't know. Who's to say?
And to not directly tell us the distance unless you speak Korean.
Korean, Japanese.
The only post they made they actually gave distance was in Korean.
Oh, it was Korean.
Yeah, it was their Korean tweet.
Thanks.
So, yeah. Quick one that I didn't have you pull up because we don't need it pulled up.
Copy.
Elite Dangerous will be available for free from the 19th to the 26th on I do believe it's Epic Game Store. This is because they're trying to get people into the game because of the World Next Door thing that they're doing. And they're doing they're also currently available games is Texotrist, is that how you say that? Which is another bullet hell game.
Texorcist.
That
uses typing.
They're kind of pushing those two together. They're like, hey, look, Elite Dangerous here, and guess what? Type of thing.
Yeah.
But the main point of this is to get people ready for the World Next Door, the big thing that they're doing. So this will be available from the 19th to the 26th for PC players.
Sure, I already owned
Yeah.
Elite Dangerous, but I recommend it. It's a nice little cool down game while you're listening to a podcast or something, just something that you already know you're gonna have to pay attention to a little bit more, but it's not visionary. That's your visionary.
Yeah, I don't know. I played it for a bit. It's okay. I think I'd get into it more once they do all the things they're promising they're gonna do.
Yeah.
But until then, I mean, it's just flying around and mining shit and occasionally shooting things.
Yeah.
So
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, and more Bungie kind of Destiny delay type of thing. So
I don't care.
I know you don't care, but it's been a lot of it. So we finally got part of the DLC we've been waiting for, Beyond Light. And now there's a bug that has broken probably the best part of PvP in Destiny, which is the Trials of Osiris. All they said, and we've got this image and whatnot is from Polygon, but all they've said is this was in a tweet. Hate to see it, but it was necessary. A bug was identified that would negatively impact the competitive experience. As such, we've decided to push the first Trials weekend back to November 27th. You'll get your hands on some adept weapons soon. First things first, raid. Fine. Okay, I get it. It's a bug. But Trials of Osiris is nothing new. How did you break this thing that's existed for almost the entire run of Destiny 2? Trials of Osiris probably came out at about the year 1 mark, roughly, maybe a little later than that. And then you fucking broke it with a partial update. A DLC at that. So it's not even something everyone got. So now people that don't have the DLC can't play Trials because Trials is broken. And they didn't even directly address it. Just it would negatively impact the competitive experience. Did it give everyone Galahorns? What the fuck did it do?
Yeah. While we are not sure what bug Bungie is referring to here, some players discovered a way to use the new Winter Wrath super indefinitely.
Okay. I mean, I just don't know why Bungie can't be straightforward with this. This is speculation coming from Polygon, basing off of what people have gotten.
But then again, that's also a bad thing. Like,
that's definitely a bad thing. It's just, which explains why it's an issue. But I don't know. So this is the indefinite Winter's Wrath or whatever. Wrath. You said Wraith.
I did. I'm sorry.
So yeah, he's just kind of stuck. He's just always floating and shooting shit and glowy and whatnot.
It just do be like that.
He's taking a shit ton of damage though.
Yeah. Oh, Guardian down.
And
he's back in it.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely looks bad. This is definitely a bad game bug. But why not just remove this from Osiris's Trials of Osiris, rather than completely removing Trials because of a DLC bug? I mean, this just took away an entire game mode from everyone, whether you bought the DLC or not.
And the fact that he's also proccing one of his abilities over and over and over is also another thing.
No, he fell out of it now. So.
Oh, shit.
Also, Liquid says the new subclasses Stasis is way broken. Sorry, new subclasses could be broken, not the trial itself. Yeah, so just remove them. And then Stasis is way broken. I'm just saying, remove the problem while you fix it, rather than removing Trials.
Fix it.
So, I don't know.
Also, another little story from Polygon that I think we both agree, and we've already talked about it. Every mechanic, or the only mechanic every game needs, is petting a dog.
Yeah. We said that first. Screw you, Polygon. That was our idea.
That was our idea.
No, that's fine. I think that's it for gaming news, right? Unless you had it. Oh, sorry. I had Game Pass. Sorry. Yeah. So we got a few new things to Game Pass. We still got some coming soon stuff. But we got which you argue is not a remaster. We got the Final Fantasy. What?
You're right. I don't.
Final Fantasy VIII remaster. You say it's not a remaster because it's still blocky.
It's still the faces look a little better. Thanks.
This is why I've always said I don't want HD remasters. I want remakes.
Yes.
But for those of us that have never played it, now it's on Game Pass.
Yeah, I mean that's fine.
Liquid says you can pet cats in Valhalla.
Oh. Neutral.
So yeah, that's come. We've still got some coming soon games that we touched on past episodes, but the big thing was that EA Play dropped. So Fallen Order, Madden, EA Sports, Skate 3, a bunch of Need for Speed games, Battlefront, Dragon Age, all kinds of stuff. What are we looking at?
Oh, I'm just cycling around while you're telling me all the EA cool stuff we're getting.
Now they added a really cool feature I like that is working for some things, and it's called game trials. So you're gonna get to try out Madden NFL 21 Xbox One version, FIFA 21 Xbox One, NHL 21, UFC 4, and Star Wars Squadron. This is a 10-hour trial. Once you launch the game, you have 10 hours to give the game a shot to decide whether or not you want to buy it. Okay. Full game, not small demo. You get the full game.
You get the full game, and then it's basically saying, hey, if you want to keep playing, pay the...
Which you get a discount because of EA Play.
That gets a thumbs up from me. I like that. That's actually pretty good.
And I think it'll be a good thing for future games, because right now, the Squadrons is the only game on there I want to try.
Right.
But later on, especially if EA does squeeze out one more Star Wars game before they lose the contract, or if Disney decides to re-up the contract with them and let them waste another 6 years, or 10 years. 6 years they released.
I know.
Two broken games in 6 years.
Wait a minute.
Battlefront 1 and 2 were broken games.
Oh, you're talking about one broken game.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about
6 years into the contract, they'd only dropped Battlefront 1 and 2.
Okay.
Battlefront 1 was a fucking financial ripoff also, and had load screens from fucking hell.
Okay, I'll give you that. And
then finally, we got Fallen Order, which was good.
Was great.
But we also heard that they told their Canada section to completely scrap a fucking RPG that they were working on because they wanted a game now, not a game a couple of years from now. And then we got Squadrons, which looks like a lot of fun. It's cheaper than I think it's 40 instead of 60.
You're correct.
And then you're gonna get a discount from EA Play. So then, but I just 6 years wasted.
I think that they're still working on something without using any assets until they re-up it, if they do re-up it. And I think we might actually receive something a lot sooner than you're thinking. Because what is EA working on right now, aside from what they're already contracted to do, such as their yearlies, a little bit of Sims, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But what are they working on?
Well, they did just drop the new Sims DLC, so they were working on that.
Mm-hmm.
You've probably got another Plants vs. Zombie game out there.
Oh, you mean like the Garden Warfare style?
Yeah, because they've got 3 of those now.
I know. I mean, to be fair, it's actually kind of fun.
I dicked around on one of them a little bit. And then you've got they've got the constant sports games.
That's what I said. Yearlies.
They've now announced plans to do more sports games though, and there's even talks to bring what was it, EA Big back, right?
I believe there was a rumor going around the room mill that they might bring back that, but then again, there's nothing nothing on full announcement.
And then
that's it.
Apex Legends. They keep doing season sport.
That's Respawn.
Still EA.
Even still, it's not directly impacted by EA. It's owned by EA.
I'm not saying directly impacted. I'm saying it's resources.
You're right. I mean,
they're putting money into that.
You're okay. Yeah, you're right. We did get.
I think the contract is.
We got a new a new operator. I don't know what the fuck they call them.
I think the contract's up next year.
Okay.
It could be the year after that, but I think the contract's about to end. So
they're gonna do something.
You really think they're gonna wait to launch a game until like the moment they're about to lose the contract to make Disney go, look, we just made this game?
I mean, they got
re-up the contract.
Because how many games did you say that they had
for Star Wars?
Mm-hmm.
They've released 4 and a DLC to Sims in a 10-year period.
Okay, but how many games were they like contracted to release?
As many as they want in that 10-year period.
I think they're gonna pull something out of their ass.
And then they canceled an RPG that never got to see the light of day.
Who's to say that they don't still have the assets somewhere on some?
They straight up said they were going to use those assets to improve other games.
Okay. So we'll say for the sake of benefit.
And that was about the 6 to 7 year mark that they did that.
You don't think?
I feel like some of those assets went to Fallen Order.
Maybe, but you don't think any
they might.
Right now just has something in the back pocket.
They might. I just don't understand how you're going to have a contract on one of the biggest fucking franchises for 10 years while they're putting out new movies and TV shows and not fucking release anything, especially when you were 6 years in and you'd release 2 crappy ass games.
For some odd reason, when you just said that, it reminded me of that one scene from, I think it's Resistance, Star Wars Resistance, where there's 3 clone troopers, and they're all looking out into the distance. There's a red flare, the droid alarm, and then the front one turns around, shoots the other one in the head.
Okay.
I don't know why, it just clicked in my head. The droid alarm.
My point is, they mishandled the asset severely, and
Yes,
I'm not
gonna say that they didn't.
While I want more content, I also want good content.
Okay.
And the fact that it took 7 to 8 years before we got Fallen Order, which is good content, but also is very small.
It was very short.
No DLCs.
I don't know what they could have done for DLC.
More planets to visit.
I would prefer story over substance.
Another character to play as with a small story, like someone else that's running around doing some stuff. Maybe give you an Imperial character to play.
Okay. I could have ran with that.
But
also, that turmeric right to the stomach.
Dying now.
It's not great.
Oh. I was trying to make you feel better, not worse.
Yep. Remember when I said turmeric don't make me feel good? Yeah, turmeric don't make me feel good.
So the big thing was the fact that we were 6 years in and we'd only had the 2 Battlefronts, and the first Battlefront was bad.
I concur. I mean, shit. Let's go back to fucking 2007 and that Battlefront 2, because that Battlefront 2, amazing.
Somehow better than the one that was released in the mid 2010s.
2016, I think.
2016.
Yeah.
Okay.
This had ginger in it.
Yeah.
This had ginger in it.
Yeah, Liquid says eat some ginger and that he loves Fallen Order. Fallen Order is great, but tell me that you didn't want a little bit more bang for your $60. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying it was a bad game. I'm just saying I would have gladly have bought DLCs for it. And he actually spent, if I remember correctly, he spent 70 or 80 on it because he got the special one.
I get you.
Which only came with cosmetics and behind the scenes on making the game.
I would lean in for that one.
Yeah, but
something
market it that we know that's what we're getting, not making it seem like we're gonna get all this extra shit.
Yeah. When I get my Series X, there's one game that I'm gonna look at because unlike you, I actually don't like loading screens. I actually want to I press the button, me in game now, you know. So
I'm not saying that I like loading screens. I'm saying that getting rid of a loading screen is not worth $700.
Yes.
That's my argument.
Okay. The over-under is there are 2 games. One is Forza Horizon 4. I want to just hop in my Weebmobile and go.
Okay.
The second one is an EA game, Battlefield 5. I hated the loading screens. That was oh my god. It is just the worst case of I have to sit here and wait because I died by a mortar fire that I wasn't aware of. Mm-hmm. And then it's every single death I have to sit there.
Now, is that online or is that campaign?
That's campaign.
Oh,
online, it's a little bit better.
I was gonna say online, that's to give time between people spawning in.
That I got. Then again, I do team deathmatch, which is instantaneous. But digress.
Gotcha.
Digress. It's the campaign. I die in the campaign. It puts me back at my checkpoint, but it takes about, I'll say 45 seconds per load. And it's just like, I don't want to be put in jail for a minute just because I died by something that was out of my power. Like I'm going to spoil a little bit of Battlefield 5, but there's a hard point where you and your SO are sitting there and you have to hunker down in these old ruins as Nazis are coming out and you got to take them all out. And they come in troves. There's not like, 3 or 4 guys coming at very distinct directions. No, it comes. And I died a few times. And it's just, I was getting more frustrated at the loading. I was getting more frustrated at waiting.
Well, Liquid makes a good point here. He likes hidden load screens where you get to work on your gear and stuff like that, or like the Sherlock Holmes games where you get to go over your notes and kind of brainstorm and whatnot while the game's loading. And I love that. Destiny 2 does that. Destiny 1, I think, did it as well. Once you got into the game. It still took a fucking century to launch that goddamn game. But once you got into the game, load screens were hidden by the fact that you go through your weapons, customize your ship, stuff like that, all while it was loading.
if I ever make a game and it actually becomes so strong that even on the newer consoles it needs loading time, I would want it to play Tetris.
You have to own Tetris. Or like license Tetris.
Shit, you're right.
Speaking of which, I tried the Tetris. I don't remember what it's called. They added that Tetris VR game from the PlayStation. They added it to Game Pass, which it's not VR on Xbox, but I played it, and it's very much like the music reacts to you dropping the blocks, and your controller vibrates to you dropping the blocks and whatnot. And some of it's kind of cool, but a lot of the music is really fucking annoying.
Okay.
Because it's with like the drop of the blocks, and I'm fucking dropping blocks like crazy, and it gets annoying real quick.
Gotcha.
So, that's it for gaming news, though. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to
shoe news. So here out in Las Vegas, our UNLV, our college team, is the Runnin' Rebels, silver and red.
Is that basketball? Is that football?
That is basketball.
Basketball. Okay.
Yes.
I didn't go there. I didn't pay attention.
It's fine. They did a little bit of a handshake with Nike, and we have ourselves some shoes. I'm happy. I'm happy that UNLV gets them.
Yeah, they're pretty simple.
$100, and I believe some of it will help out school. Unsure about that part, but even still, 2021 is the release year for it. They're not exactly saying on when. I'm thinking maybe first quarter.
I think they were smart with the way they did this, though. It doesn't say UNLV on it. It doesn't have the UNLV logo.
No.
So someone that just really likes these shoes but went to a different college can 100% buy them. Or people that didn't go to college and don't want to rep a college because they didn't go, 100% can buy them.
Right.
But it's not a bad design. I don't really like the back.
But
Yeah, because like the swoosh goes over like the other part. Like they interrupted the swoosh. I feel like you shouldn't do that.
Oh, for the little stitching right there? Yeah. If they didn't have the stitching there and just kind of kept it underneath.
Yeah, maybe. But, I don't know.
Yeah.
These ones aren't bad.
No.
What else we got?
Okay, so we talk about pop culture. There's internet, what do we want to call it? Talk show? I guess we'll call it that.
I mean, it's not cooking.
It isn't cooking. It isn't really a talk show, but a lot of guests go on to...
Liquid makes a good point real quick. Make the swoosh black because that's part of the color scheme.
Yeah, I could definitely,
that would work.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, they can make it black. That would work out.
But back over to, it's a show where celebrities go on to
be tortured
by eating dangerously hot wings or whatever their equivalent of if they're vegan or prefer chicken tenders or what have you.
I hear that the vegan ones are very tough at times.
I don't know. I've
never had them.
I just showed my mom the one for Steve-O this morning, and he's a vegan, so he eats the vegan one, and he's just, no problem. But then again, he did break his face like 3 times total. One time in college at the College of Miami, and 2 other times, I'm sure.
He did a video with Darby Allin from AEW.
How'd that go?
They kind of did the whole hi, I'm this, and this is this type of thing.
Aww.
And then I do believe Darby just zipped himself up in a body bag and rolled down a fucking half pipe. Yeah. I mean, he does crazy shit. He was hit by a car on one video and stuff like that, but the reality is he can't actually hurt himself because then he can't wrestle. So, but back to Hot Wings.
Back to Hot Ones. They scale in color from the look of it, from their cool to their hot. The cool one has a few bars filled up, and it looks like a nice cream color. Let me scroll down to it. A nice cream color, and even the tongue showcases that it's not too hot.
Yeah, it's got the Scoville level.
Yeah, and then the mild, as they want to call it, for $100. Then they're a little bit more warmer, and it even has peppers or wings.
No, I think
both.
Oh, okay, yeah.
On the bottom of the soles, which are it's very much their thing, and it's called medium. And then would you look at that, their last one, which is a powerful black with
this is the only one I wouldn't wear.
Yeah, these are very, very strong, which is like black with neon colors. I can see where they take their liberties with this, but it is their hot for $160.
This is coming out November 19th.
Yes. I like them. I like them all. I would probably just wear the milds.
I think I'd go with medium.
You go with medium?
Yeah. But I like that there's so many companies.
They're just wings.
Oh, they're just wings. Okay.
They're just wings.
I like so many companies that are making these crossovers, doing these deals and whatnot. With Reebok and Nike, like we're especially seeing a lot from Reebok. Some of the more obscure things with Reebok.
And then the First We Feast logo is chilling out in the back.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Liquid says, didn't know Steve-O was vegan. Yeah, go look up his stuff about what he did with about SeaWorld. He did all kinds of stuff trying to take down SeaWorld.
Actually, if you watch the episode of Hot Ones, he even talks about it.
Yeah, got himself arrested and everything.
Yeah, oh yeah. He said for an hour and a half, it was a big one.
Yeah.
You know.
So, I mean, these are pretty cool, but we're still not done with shoe news.
I've got 2 more.
You didn't have to spoil how many, damn.
I mean, I usually only have like 2 total.
Yeah, no, this is good work. Weird week for news outside of gaming. Kind of weird week for news inside of gaming because everyone's just playing the new consoles, not really talking about anything. But really good week for shoes.
Very good week for shoes. Let me ask you something. I like martial arts movies. What would you say is my favorite?
I mean, it could be Kill Bill.
Could be.
It could be the one that these reference.
It could be that one.
Which is on HBO Max, by the way.
Is it?
Yeah. I mean, I've got it on DVD. So
okay.
I think it's going to be, what's the Show Enough one with Bruce Leroy? Is that Kung Fu Hustle? No.
No.
I don't remember what it is. The Last Dragon.
Yeah, okay.
Liquid with the save.
Yeah. Okay.
Is it The Last Dragon?
Yeah, no.
Okay. What is it?
Enter the Dragon.
Oh, so it is the one these reference. Okay.
Yes.
Nike doing Bruce Lee shoes.
Ooh, they look good.
Oh, these look great, especially with it's got the scratch.
Yeah, I huge fan of these.
Okay, weird thing about that movie.
Yeah. They
filmed the entire thing, but dubbed all the sound. Everyone was still speaking English, but they dubbed this like they all went and recorded their dialogue and dubbed it on over it.
Yeah.
I don't understand why.
They thought it might make the sound pop a little bit more.
It didn't.
But I am here for both of these colors.
I don't even like yellow. I would wear these.
It's to be fair, it is orange. I know that you have red. I know.
Okay. Well, I don't like orange either, so it still stands. I'd still wear this.
Okay.
Orange, yellow, not really my colors.
You got a signature on the back.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Anything special on the soles? Let's see. Oh, it's the partial red, like the bottom of the shoe. Yeah. I don't know what those shoes are called, but the shoes they wear when they're doing
where he would be stepping. Yes.
What? It's not. Is it karate that is fighting style?
There's a
couple in there.
There's a couple in there.
Okay. Well, it's the kinds of shoes you would wear.
Yeah, because it's not Muay Thai. God damn it! Now you got me thinking.
It's not my Thai.
It's not my Thai. I think it's just straight kung fu, but I don't.
Yeah, Liquid saying kung fu.
I know there's another. I know there's like another like sub genre of it. But
I know he was big into the whole
learning all.
What is it? The resistance where you force yourself to move slowly to like all your muscles.
What is it? I'm right now poking Quincey in the chest, and then it just the 1-inch punch. Like I know he perfected that art because what he does between the distance of the finger to the knuckle is he makes it to where it's like 500 pounds of pressure. You know, he acknowledged that if I can make it from here to here by only having that much distance but that much resistance.
When was the last time you watched the movie?
What?
When was the last time you watched the movie?
Last time I watched this one?
Yeah.
Years? It's been years.
Okay. Do you remember who one of the guys is in it that's like, they kind of knew each other already, they're friends? It's the dad from Nightmare on Elm Street.
Really?
Yeah. They were real life friends. In fact, he knew how to fight because Bruce taught him.
Huh.
So real life, he actually knew how to do all the fighting and whatnot. Bruce Lee was the one that taught him. And then he goes on to be the sheriff and like everything and the dad and all the nightmares and all that.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's really interesting. And going back over to like the subgenres, I was also thinking like Jackie Chan knew a lot of different fighting styles. And the funniest one was one that is probably the last Jackie Chan movie that I have seen, which was Drunken Master. And I was like, oh yeah, Drunken Master. And I was like, mimicking the moves. I'm like, it's completely different than just regular karate, kung fu, that kind of thing. So I'm like, I'm interested in all these different martial arts types, but I don't know how deep I want to go down that rabbit hole.
Okay. I've never taken any lessons or anything. So how much are these? I think it's lower. Oh no, I guess
tell me that
higher.
it was lower. I was right.
I'm sorry. We were looking at images. Normally it's underneath the image. 180.
180. A little pricey, but then again, for Bruce Lee's signatures though.
Yeah. Go back to I want the release date. November 24th. So it's coming up. Now these are Nike Zoom Kobe 5 Protro? Bruce Lee Alt, and then I think the other one's
just regular
Bruce Lee. I think it would actually be up for the other name.
Yeah, but I'm going down.
I even like the mark on the tongue, the mark on the sole. Like they put a lot of thought into the design of these shoes. Whoever designed these really took some time and thought about this. Now you've seen the Kill Bill movies. Those are highly influenced by Bruce Lee and Enter the Dragon.
Oh yeah, her suit alone. Oh yeah,
her suit alone.
And then when that girl with the huge ball and chain thing, she does the same thing.
Yeah, I don't remember the character name, but I know which one you're talking about. Lauren would know in a second. She loves the Kill Bill movies. Yeah, she's got a name.
I know she got a name.
All right, we got one more.
So even though we just talked a lot of shit about them, let's talk a little bit of good. PlayStation. I think these are Travis Scott's, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. So
I didn't realize the first time you showed me. The Swish is backwards.
Oh, it is.
So it's another Nike. It's supposed to be like the classic PlayStation. It's got like that grayish off tone, and it's got some darker colors as well, and darker grays.
Yeah, and it all looks like it's canvas.
Yeah. And then it's got the PlayStation logo and then Japanese writing underneath it, which I would assume says PlayStation. Well, it's English on one side, Japanese on the other. But the swishes are backwards. I wonder. That's interesting.
I mean,
It says Sony on the back.
Yeah.
And then what's the bottom of the shoe looking? And then Japanese writing that I'm going to assume probably says either Sony or PlayStation.
Or both. Because
they can do a lot with very few characters.
Tsuji.
So, I don't know Japanese.
I know
that's got to be saying something. Oh, there we go. It says PlayStation.
It does.
Because the other shoe says PlayStation in English. We just scrolled a little further.
Yeah.
Now, the only thing I don't like is that one of the promo photos is with the new PlayStation 5, and it just further shows how fucking ugly that console is.
It's a modem.
It's so bad.
Travis Scott, record breaker, pop culture pioneer. Oh.
It's cool. I like them.
I
like the callback to the classic. It's one of those things where if they had tried to make the new console look more like the original, I would have been more open to that idea than this whole let's make everything look futuristic. Now people are that took you to something completely different.
They did.
As I say, people are always selling them on eBay. But let's go ahead and see if we can't check the price on this.
Oh god. There's so many pictures. Oh.
No price yet.
No price yet, but they keep getting updates. Oh, it's a giveaway.
Okay, that's why.
But hang on.
Interesting.
Oh, I didn't know that. I just closed.
Okay, so the giveaway's up. Well, someone will win them, and they'll probably try to sell them. In all reality.
Yeah, they're not gonna wear those. One of a kinds.
Well, are they only giving away one pair? Doesn't say.
Doesn't really say, but something tells me it would be. Not for resale.
Oh, five entries will be selected. There you go.
Oh, okay.
So there's gonna be 5 out there, not for resale. Someone's gonna sell them. Even if they do it on the download, someone's gonna sell them. They're gonna sell them for an ungodly amount of money.
Oh yeah.
So that's this week's shoe news. I'm pretty happy with the turnout on shoes. You found a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
that's all thanks to him. He does the shoe news.
I do. I used to be against it, but now I'm for it.
Yeah, now you embrace it. You were against it because it was something we weren't trying to make happen, but it kept insisting that it would.
And then there was that one time that it was just we talked about it last week, and then it happened that following week, and I was just like, fine, you win.
The universe decided it.
Fucking shove it down.
All right, so we got a few more things here. We're gonna transition into movies, television, stuff like that. You said you thought this was a joke.
Okay. From where I read it from, I thought it was a joke. So, I did not know about the Instagram.
So it's that Sylvester Stallone is going to be in the new Suicide Squad movie by James Gunn, which he'd already been in Guardians 2 from James Gunn. So that automatically made me believe it.
Ayo.
But you keep saying that, I just keep thinking Razor Ramon.
Oh shit! Yeah, right.
I'm not even thinking some. I'm thinking Razor Ramon the whole way. But to kind of put any doubt out of your mind, James Gunn did Instagram about it.
Yeah.
They put a photo up together. Then they're saying that they worked today on the Suicide Squad. I'm assuming it's gonna be something small. But is there anything you can think of that you're hoping he's doing? Judge Dredd is not DC, so you can't say reprising that role.
No. I mean, there isn't a lot of DC I'm acknowledged with. Like, me and Marvel, pretty big. Mm-hmm. Me and DC, very small.
You gotta read more.
I do. It's just... Everything I was reading out of DC was always like these much more smaller chunked stories, such as The Long Halloween and Hush. So I never really wanted to go away from Batman or that kind of small story thing. I don't know.
I feel like it's going to be something, because I honestly, I don't have anything that I'm specifically hoping for here, because I know it's going to be something small. But what I'm thinking, based off of how he handled things in Guardians, it's going to be an original Suicide Squad member that didn't make the main part of the film, because the character he plays in Guardians is an original Ravager, or not Ravager. He plays a Ravager. He was originally a Guardian in like earlier comics. Like all those characters where you see them at the cutscene at the end where it's like he's talking to the robot, he's talking to the Diamond guy, which by the way, the robot is Miley Cyrus. The Diamond guy is Rosenbaum, Lex Luthor from Smallville.
Wow.
So when he's talking to all of them, they were all Guardians at one point in the comics. So that was kind of like a whole Guardians. I'm getting the Guardians meeting up type of thing. Okay. But they're Ravengers in this. They're not Guardians. So I think it's going to be something like that. I think he's going to pull someone from the original. I mean, I've got Suicide Squad from the 80s downstairs. We could probably look there and make a good guess. But that's what I'm thinking this is going to be. I'm thinking this is going to be...
Can he be Killer Croc?
I mean, if they wanted to just CGI, he could, yeah. But they've already got King Shark in this, so remember that.
Oh, okay. Because I think it would make a pretty good Killer Croc. Just Stallone with how he is, how he's built. I think he'd be fine.
I love the way they did Killer Croc in the games, but I really love the way they did Killer Croc in the Batman cartoon.
You showed me.
They made him Cajun.
Yeah.
And that was fucking perfect. I thought that was so great. But I really like how they dealt with it in the Arkham games of like, okay, he's this guy with his deformity and whatnot, and he kind of embraces the whole crocodile thing. He eats, people, and they feed him, carcasses of cows and whatnot when he's in prison. But then some pharmacist company gets a hold of him at one point and start doing experiments on him, and they actually graft a tail onto him and stuff like that because they go crazy with experiments, and they just make his life so much worse. So it's even more understandable why he fucking is just this big bad guy. So I like the way that handled it, rather than, oh, I've got a skin thing that somehow made me grow a tail,
I like Morbius.
Yeah, Morbius.
I'm now a half vampire.
Because I shot myself with bat DNA.
Now I get to go feast on people's plasma.
Like, don't get me wrong, I enjoy Morbius in the comics and even in the animated series.
In the animated series, though, it was also the introduction of my favorite superhero.
Blade?
No. Oh. Punisher.
Punisher, that's right. Punisher shows up. The first time we see Punisher in the 90s animated Spider-Man show is for Morbius. I would say because eventually Blade shows up because of Morbius also.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
In the animated?
Yeah. He's driving his fucking bike around on the roof and shit.
Well, yeah, but then the animated kind of did the major thing of what I don't like seeing Frank do, and that's smile. So it was just like, eh.
I mean, this is also a show that wasn't allowed to use bullets, and so everyone used lasers guns.
Or trank darts.
Yeah.
I'm the Punisher. I hurt people. I'm like,
he's getting joy from the idea of hurting people. That's why he smiled.
Yeah, I guess. But I mean, the voice actor that did for the Punisher, I was pretty okay with.
Yeah. What'd you think of their version of Micro in that?
Oh, the heavyset gentleman. Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah. When they casted Wayne Knight for him in Warzone. I was like, oh, that's good casting. And
That's
then
great
that
casting.
movie went down the way it went, and I was like, okay, yeah.
A few of the scenes were super nice. The opening 6-7 minutes, amazing.
How do you feel about the creation of Jigsaw in that versus the creation of Jigsaw on the TV show?
TV show, Multitude's better, even though it's not how it would have gone down, considering the one who is Jigsaw is supposed to be a mafioso. He's supposed to be a big boss.
Mm-hmm.
And Punisher says, "You've ruined so many lives. I'm actually gonna do something I never really do. I'm just gonna ruin your life."
He shouldn't have. He should have just done what he normally does.
He should have done what he normally did.
And
but
also, you can't do that after giving Spider-Man so much shit. Have you ever read Darkhawk?
Darkhawk.
Yeah. 90s roughly. Kid finds out his dad is like a dirty cop. And dad freaks out and runs off. Kid finds this, or teenager I should say, finds this big diamond thing that creates a suit on him. It's a Darkhawk suit. And he's trying to get vengeance for the people that did that, caused his dad to turn, and bad people and whatnot. But he's also doing this thing where he's not entirely sure how he wants to handle himself. So all throughout this run, like these first several comics, Spider-Man showing up and being like, no, we beat him up, we turn him into the police, we arrest him, we capture him. That's what we do. But then on the other hand, he's got the Punisher coming in and going, no, you got to kill him.
Yeah, put him down.
And so you've got the two sides of the coin, basically, the devil and angel on your shoulder type of thing, trying to tell him how to handle all of this. And then I think also at one point Hobgoblin shows up and really fucks some stuff up for him. But it was an interesting thing. It was a good use of other characters. I mean, the costume was okay, and I read a good chunk of it before kind of falling out of it. But I think they had a really great way of using the Punisher and Spider-Man because they do have such conflicting things, and because Punisher's first appearance was in a Spider-Man comic, and now these two guys are appearing in this new guy's comic to kind of try to show him the way of things. So if you want to pull that up, you've got some images up of some of the comics and what the character looked like. The character design went through a few different choices. That's the original stuff there. That's what I own. But the later designs weren't bad either. I kind of like the one above this. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's really nice coloring.
So it was an interesting character, but it was done in. It was like one of those moments of like showing that the writing in comics is really thought out sometimes.
Yeah. So. And I've always enjoyed like all these nice little pops above the title card where it's always like Funeral for a Friend, The Bloody Return of Venom.
And this one here just says classic, but there's a few over
The
there.
War of Kings, War Journal for Punisher, Frankencastle for that set.
Well, everything about that set's wild.
To be honest, I fucking love that set. I would love to have the entire of it.
So, I mean, this was an interesting character. This is one of those characters I'm like, oh, this is never going to end up in the MCU. And if it does, it'll be a throwaway episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Oh, wait, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s over. Well, this will never be in the MCU.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that's having a hard time, which I'm hoping Moon Knight does amazingly. Because if Moon Knight does well, we're going to see a lot more of the smaller tier characters. Because before the MCU wrapped up, let's face it, not a lot of people know of Moon Knight. There's people like you and I who know.
I feel like he's more known than Darkhawk was.
Yeah, I'll give you that. But let's face it, he's
definitely lesser known.
He's lesser known. And I could definitely foresee him getting a big popularity just as long as he's done right through the Disney Plus show.
What I'm thinking is going to happen is we're going to get these Disney Plus shows that are kind of going to, without us really realizing, they're going to set up little things. So we're getting WandaVision. We're getting eventually. Oh, we didn't talk about it last week. WandaVision got pushed to January. So this was officially the first year without an MCU release in 10 years. Well, I guess technically 11 now. So with WandaVision, we're gonna get a bit of a setup. I think with Moon Knight, we're gonna be set up She-Hulk, Winter Soldier, all that stuff, and they're gonna do little things, I think, that we're not realizing are gonna really tie into the big things. And my theory is because now Avengers, that's kind of done, we're gonna get Fantastic Four. I mean, they're They're Marvel's first family.
Yeah, okay.
And I think that's going to become the new Avengers. I think they're going to be the ones that kind of pop up in the different movies for like the cutscenes and stuff like that. And then they're going to have like a big blocking one. Because the way I always looked at it and the way I think it was best described, and I'm going to give Kevin Smith credit for this because he's where I heard it first, is you've got Iron Man, you got Captain America, you've got all the Thor movies, all these different movies. Mm-hmm. Those are the single issues. And then the Avengers is the giant size annual.
Okay.
So I think what's going to happen...
makes sense for me.
I think what's going to happen is we're going to get all these little shows on Disney Plus, and we're going to get things like Black Widow and Guardians 3 eventually, and all these other movies. But I think what's going to happen, and this is just pure speculation on my point at this part, but I think it's going to be Fantastic Four. It's going to be our new giant size annuals.
Okay.
And so I think he'll probably pop up in the bigger things eventually.
I'm hoping, but I don't know if you acknowledge this. Look at this cover. He's stepping on Cap's shield. He's got Wolverine claws, and he's got the Spidey hand.
So there's a lot of talk about how he kind of has split personality. He doesn't have split personality, but he kind of has split personality. And they say that the three personalities are Wolverine, Spider-Man, Captain America. He's got a little bit of each character.
Did I ever let you read my my Moon Knight?
I don't know. I let you read mine. I don't know if I've read yours.
Oh, okay.
I've got the one where he's in the asylum.
Yeah. Okay. Then we read the same. Did I buy that the same time you did?
Maybe.
I think you bought it, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'll pick it up too."
Probably. So, if anyone wants to check out Moon Knight, I highly suggest pretty much any of them. They're all pretty good.
Yeah.
But they did a run. I think it's actually the top one right
this
here.
One?
I think it's
that one.
Volume 1 of that. Or if you go back, it might have been the one on the bottom. That may have been Volume 1. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
Click on that. This is one of the ones I suggest.
I completely agree.
It doesn't exactly... It's not an origin story. But they do kind of establish the character still for you.
It is an origin story in a sense that this is where he kind of wakes up.
A little bit. Yeah.
So this is an origin story that's already established, but this is his origin of him finally figuring it out, or quote unquote waking up.
And the artwork reminds me of a calmer version of Arkham Asylum by Grant Morrison.
Yeah.
It's kind of that, like, it's that. It was if that artwork was understandable. If that makes sense.
There's a good full 2-page spectrum later on.
Centerfold.
Yeah, it's a fucking centerfold.
Well, it doesn't fold out, but it's a centerfold.
Yes. Where he finally sees what the world is when he's wearing that mask. Mm-hmm. Where he finally figures it out, and he says, I understand. I understand why you visited me. I understand why I have these abilities, and I understand what I've got to do. I just don't know if I'm strong enough for it. And this is where he begins to have that self-doubt. That's why when he takes it off, he just goes back to being normal, and he loses all empathy, and he just goes...
But while doing all this, though, it also makes you wonder if any of this is real.
Yeah.
If it's all in his head. Is he sane? Is he insane? What's going on with this character?
Correct. Without spoiling too much, because I want anyone who is listening to read this without spoiling too much. In a certain point afterwards, he does gather a little bit more about himself, and he goes, I'm not just the Moon Knight. I am not just Mark on the inside. Mm-hmm. There's more to me that meets the eye. Mm-hmm. I need to figure this out. And then he has a very distinct conversation with a very distinct individual, and then he finally recollects who he was before the mask. Yeah. And I'm like, that's fucking great.
He's also a very layered character because he kind of does the Bruce Wayne thing, but to kind of an extreme. So he's got...
And to a broke extreme.
Yeah. He's got Moon Knight, the hero, the Batman.
Yes.
He's got Mark Spector, the billionaire philanthropist playboy, Bruce Wayne.
He's also got Mark Spector.
But he's also got Mark Spector, the cab driver.
And then you also got Mark Spector, the
guy that's pulling all the strings of these three other characters because he's the true thing there.
Yeah.
Which, there's always a discussion of who's real. Is Batman more the real person, or is Bruce Wayne more the real person? And the real decision is that neither of them are. There's kind of a middle one. There's the detective that perfectly plays Bruce Wayne in the public eye. Right. And he perfectly executes being Batman.
Right.
but then there's the other the actual dark breeding Bruce. This does this, but it adds a third layer.
It adds so many more layers.
Yeah.
Because you don't know who the middle one is.
Mhm.
You don't know where the hell the middle one lies.
Neither does he.
Yeah.
So.
And it's such a good story.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those I highly recommended. If you like Batman, but you wanted it to get kind of crazy, go with it. If you like the jokes of Spider-Man, but you wanted it to be a little harsher, go with it. If you wanted it to be Wolverine, but you wanted it to be a little funnier, go with it. You know, it kind of.
There's an exchange between Moon Knight and the Punisher, to which the Punisher goes, "So how's that God in your brain working for you?" "Oh, he's good." "How's that dead family?"
Don't shit talk.
Yeah, and it's just like.
Don't dish it out if you can't take it.
Yeah, and I believe they work together pretty good. Because you got Moon Knight, who's like, I don't care how the job is handled, I'm just gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Spider-Man, who's like, I'll string them up for the cops to get. And then you got the Punisher, who's like, two in them. So you got literally 3 full spectrums. You got the chaotic neutral, the lawful good, and then the lawful evil.
Well, yeah, he plays with all 3 of those, but in kind of a different stance, because it's not the Punisher. It's, in his case, it's Wolverine, and then Spidey, and then Cap. So you get the Spidey, who's like, I've got to be careful. I got to do this a specific way. I have to protect people. But then you also got the Cap that's like, no, I'm here to protect. You know. The Boy Scoutish type of thing, and so
I could do this all day.
There's a lot going on with this character, and I'm excited for the show. I'm just still iffy on the casting.
I don't care about the casting. I just want the show to do good.
Yes, but if the casting's a problem, then the show won't do good. That's why I'm saying I'm worried about the casting. They casted a guy that did 3 movies and went, I'm out. And then, how many episodes of a show is he going to do?
You're okay. I get you, but
Go and read this. A while ago, I've been meaning to get to the chat here. A while ago, Liquid mentioned, I don't know who Darkhawk is. Most don't. But it's a fun read if you want to kind of do the whole Angel Devil shoulder thing. Go check it out. They're from the 90s. They're mass printed. You can find them pretty cheap. And I'm sure they're on digital by now, too. So let's go ahead.
These are good covers.
Yeah, they have amazing covers here. Let's go ahead and hit the next news story.
Dude.
All right, so it was obvious because they did it. We're looking at it being done. That was the
DuckTales?
No, I was saying because you were hovering over the next one. I was saying that's the cosplay thing.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you want to show that or not, but
that'll be next. But right now.
So DuckTales, they had hinted towards Darkwing Duck,
and now we're getting Darkwing Duck.
I shouldn't even say hinted. They showed him. They had him in it.
They had Webby. They had Darkwing, but then. Which is funny because Launchpad is in both.
He was in both originally too, though.
Yeah, I know, but how did he manage to work it out?
I mean, you don't see Scrooge McDuck doing a lot at night.
You're right.
Most of his stuff's down during the day. He works 2 shifts because he's stupid and wastes all of his money. He's stupid.
He is very like they in the original show, the original 90s show, it was like he's got that level of I know how to fly a plane, I know how to crash a plane. I know how to do this. I know how to do this. Cool. Meanwhile, you got this one who's like, snakes, that's freaking awesome. I'm going to go right into him. Oh, I got bit by a whole bunch of snakes. His whole face all mangled.
Well, what I always kind of liked about the character is because the way he looks, because he is the pilot and whatnot. He was very much the Indiana Jones or the smuggling guy from the 50s or whatever, who is going to be rough around the edges, but he's going to be the adventurous one. He's going to save the day, yada, yada. He has that look, but he cannot pull any of that off. So instead, the 3 preteens and the old man have to save everything, or the child and the billionaire who's also kind of stupid a little bit himself, have to go and save things because what people look at and expect to be the action hero can't be the action hero.
Real talk, I'm actually super excited for this. Like, I'm more excited for this than I am Moon Knight.
Okay, I'm not with you there, but
I'm excited for both. It's just this one's a little bit higher.
Yeah,
this is a little bit higher because Darkwing Duck kind of leveled my childhood. I would always watch it just before I was getting ready to go onto the school bus.
Gotcha.
It was there the 30 minutes before, and then after that was Beast Wars, but I always had to leave by the time Beast Wars start.
Oh, they did Toon Disney for me, so they kind of had that thing where it's like there was always cartoons on. Catch
Mhm.
What You Can. I feel like Darkwing was always on late for some reason, but I did watch plenty of it. So yeah, The Most Dangerous Duck's back. They're saying this is going to be a reboot series on Disney Plus, not on the Disney Channel. So the cool thing here is, streaming, no commercials, all that.
Yeah.
It doesn't directly say if it's going to be connected, but since he's in here, why wouldn't it be?
I don't.
And I expect the artwork to
God.
probably be the same.
Huh.
Now, here's where the interesting thing. We know who the producers are. So executive producer Evan Goldberg, who we never looked up. I'm sure he's somebody. And one other producer, because this is being produced by Point Grey Pictures. The other producer on this is Seth Rogen. I mean, he's getting big into producing. We're seeing a lot
They're
of it.
childhood friends,
Oh, okay, there you go.
including Superbad, Pineapple Express, This Is the End, The Interview, and The Good Boys.
Okay, so he's the one that's been producing all the movies that Seth's been acting in, and now I guess they're producing things together. So they probably produced The Boys together. It doesn't say it, but they probably did.
They probably
Seth is a producer on The Boys.
Interesting.
So now they're being producers on Darkwing Duck.
Okay, yo, let's go.
It's an interesting pick, but
Let's get dated.
I was like, when they said he was going to be directing The Boys, I was like, oh, and then The Boys ended up turning out to be great, so it ended up not mattering. But now I'm like, okay, he's producing Darkwing Duck, and I just have to stop myself and go, it just because he's producing it doesn't mean he's going to sit there and try to do things the very Seth Rogen-y way, So Liquid says I watched Darkwing Duck before bed. Yeah, I feel like that's probably what I did. I probably caught it before bed, because we had Toon Disney when I was growing up. And then one last Darkwing thing. Someone did something really cool. There is a
Blithering Blatherskipes.
There's a great it's Gizmo Duck, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Great Gizmo Duck cosplay, complete with one of those electric unicycles so that he has the wheel.
And I mean, it looks really good.
It's a great cosplay. I mean, it's one of those foam builds that it's like, I could do that, and the reality is, no, I never could. This guy is way more talented than I could ever be. It lights up. Does it make sound? I don't know if it makes sound.
I don't know. It probably does a little bit of here's and there's, because if you're gonna go the half mile, might as well go the full mile, you know. But even still, it's just I'm loving all this support for our history.
I mean, yes, it's history in a sense. Yes, it's our history, but it is technically cartoons.
I don't give no damn.
But I'm liking the nostalgia love and whatnot. I'm liking that they're going back to the things that worked, because there's a lot of new things that really just don't. Now, when it comes to this foam that he's got, I found out you can buy. They've officially got a section at Michael's now for all the cosplaying foam stuff, the glue, the heating, like the heat guns for it, the stuff to cut it. Michael's is actually getting into the cosplay business now.
Good. That would save their business, because I mean, let's face it, everyone's gonna want to be crafting for when the Backstreet Boys concert that has lasted this entire year is over.
See, you say Backstreet Boys concert because you're referring to the year being a bad thing, but there's a lot of people out there that can't wait for Backstreet to be back.
All right. I'm glad that you caught
one of them
setup.
lives
I am
here.
So fucking glad you caught that. Okay, but moving on. As soon as their reunion tour is all over, everyone's gonna be wanting to bust out that new costume that they've spent this entire year building.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of cosplayers that are probably just building like crazy right now.
Oh yeah.
Even the chat's doing the all right.
Yeah. But I mean, as soon as the doors are lifted and we get our first convention
gathering,
yes, it's still going to be, distanced, but there's still going to be that thing of, I'm going to ask permission to approach, I'm going to ask permission if we can take a picture, that kind of thing. It's going to be very much this is all we can do for right now. And then
you even got the Halloween people that are like, I didn't get to do Halloween.
Yeah.
They might even pour into the cosplay community a bit because they didn't get to do their thing. They didn't get their fix.
You got a little bit of your fix this year.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, it's just I was at work and that was a terrible night.
Yeah, the funny thing is with them changing your schedule, if they had done it sooner, you would have had Halloween off.
What did it fall on?
It was a Saturday.
It was on a Saturday.
Yeah.
But, whatever.
So, back to the nostalgia stuff, though, and back to the cosplaying and whatnot. I think bringing back old shows and companies supporting the cosplay, especially companies that are like, do stuff at home, do crafty things. I think we are going to see a lot of crazy shit. We saw a guy that made an entire Gizmo Duck costume just because.
Oh yeah, I mean, if I were to look up 2020 cosplay right now, sure, I wouldn't find a lot, but I'd still find really nice costumes.
Yeah. So I think you're right. I think we're going to see some crazy stuff when we come out of this. You're going to see what you
I'm just going to see what I pull up from 2020 cosplay. Okay. So immediately I get a Nezuko.
Wait, but that's PAX South. PAX South didn't happen this year.
January.
Was it? Are you sure? Oh, okay. That was like the only thing that got to happen before everything shut down. Wow. Okay, so yeah, everything's gonna be PAX stuff. I mean, there was already good thought, a good work without people being stuck in their home, bored.
You're right. Aw.
I'm sorry. The line is stuck in the house, bored. That I think.
Do of which you were at your home to do.
Whatever. Oh, I like the Bender one. Be careful what you're showing on here. We're on Twitch.
Yeah, I know.
Well, since we're on Twitch and we're talking about that, I have a question. How do you feel about Twitch's cracking down on music?
I'm okay with it because they have their own. They now have a thing that I can attach to this program that allows us to play music if we happen to want to.
Well, yeah, but they're cracking down on licensed music and whatnot.
That's
so
fine.
You're fine with it?
It's better than them trying to find a legal way to say they're just playing it, but they're talking over it. You know, it's better than that.
Now here's my question.
Okay.
If you are playing something and you have permission, I haven't heard how to tell Twitch that. I'm sure there's a way, but it's not an easy thing that they've come out and been like, this is how you tell us that you have permission to play that.
You're right.
Granted, they're not Instagram who flags people for putting their own music up.
You're right.
I've watched Instagram flag verified accounts for putting their own music videos on their accounts.
You are correct. It's one of those gray areas of when it gets flagged, then it gets sent to the one who distributed the music. So we'll say for the sake of benefit.
Though, or do they just go, "Oh, it was flagged until we have an answer. We're pulling your shit."
Yes.
See,
that's good. That's just that's the low end of it. That is just how it's gonna be. But good news from Twitch, however, they did do something really cool. They did something fucking amazing. So during, I believe it was GlitchCon, which is their online base, they had a few tournaments going, etc., etc. During one of their segments, they donated $1 million to able gamers. So that is amazing to me, because even a small-time disability such as, I'm just using you as an example, sorry, your inability to see certain shades of red.
Okay.
There are accessibility options in certain games that allow you to play games, that allow you to, see those colors. Mm-hmm. That's just the small end of the spectrum. There's a person who loves gaming, who loves doing all, clicking the sticks, but then has to lose their hand because of skin cancer. That charity helps them gain their ability to go for it, to continue playing games.
Yeah, I've got their thing here. They said what we do. Able Gamers enables fun. We give people with disabilities custom game setups, including modified controllers and special assistive technology, like devices that let you play with your eyes so they can have fun with their friends and family. We're using the power of video games to bring people together, improving quality of life with recreation and rehabilitation.
Right.
I feel like the controller that works best for this is the one that Xbox released. Xbox had that completely programmable controller that they had done with the concept of it's for people with disabilities and whatnot.
Right.
Problem is it's fucking expensive.
Right. But then again, I'm sure this helps push them toward
very true
people. Mika Burton hosted GlitchCon this year. That's LeVar Burton's daughter.
Thank you for the chat on that one.
Chat. Very interesting. I didn't know who hosted it, but I'm glad for the extra bit of information. I am well aware of Mika Burton, and I'm happy that she's all over the place this year. So as far as
they got $1 million from Twitch, and their page says that they use about 95% of the money. So I mean, that's still $950,000. That's right on that, right?
No.
Well, 1 million. Yeah, it'd be.
No.
Why would it not be
You said 95?
$950,000, 95%?
50%, not 150%. Or I'm sorry.
They give 95% of the money.
Yes. So 50,000.
Why would 50,000 be what they gave? 50,000 is not 95%. They give 95%, not keep.
I thought you were wondering what was left because you said.
No, I'm saying they give 95,000. They would give $950,000 because they give 95%.
I thought you said 150,000. I'm sorry because I was I was like, are you saying what's left?
No. What's left is $50,000. So I mean that's
with a broken freaking neck.
And that's if they didn't just say fuck it, we're in a whole million
with a broken freaking neck.
So yeah, they did something awesome. I'm not trying to shit on them about the music thing. I was just curious your opinion. And they did turn around and do something great here. Yeah. So
and also, I don't understand how Among Us can get a tournament. Considering
really good.
Yeah, how can you be good if it's all
just be really good? Orange is sus.
Orange is sus. I saw Red Vent, and then boom, you get voted out, and then you die, and then it's like, but that doesn't make. Is it last? You just
gotta be great at lying. Just 100% great at lying.
Whoever can yell the loudest first.
Yep.
I don't get how there could be a tournament on it. That's all I'm saying.
So
unless it's for charity, in which I'll say that's even better.
Real quick before we end all this, back to LeVar Burton's daughter. That brought me to the concept of just LeVar Burton. People are petitioning for him to be the new Jeopardy host.
I would be okay with this.
I think it might be our best bet.
I think that would be a pretty good.
I would 100% accept him as the new Jeopardy host. So. That's it for news tonight, though.
That's it for news. We talked about everything we wanted to as far as we plugged everything. We plugged Geek Grind at the beginning.
Yeah. So, as always, make sure you follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, like, subscribe, tell a friend, tell an enemy. And if you want to support us, you can support us through Geek Grind and then just the general liking and subscribing. Eventually, we'll get the Patreon back up and running. We're going to get content on there for you guys. But for now, that's nothing. So, just know you mocha me crazy.
I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. It's not the best in the world, but I'll give you that one.
End the stream.
Have a good night.